Hi, this is James Eng with Old Capital, and today I'm going to be talking about the DFW multifamily market. Instead of typing out an article and talking about, where employment is, I wanted to visually show you sort of how DFW has, grown, and then also talk about demographics across the entire metroplex. And so whenever an investor comes into the market, I really like to either show them or draw them a map of sort of how DFW came together and sort of what's driving the growth across the metroplex. And so just to give you a little bit of bearings, I mean, I-35 is here, goes into downtown, comes back out and goes down to Austin. And then 75 right here goes into Dallas and becomes 45 and goes down to Houston. And so those are sort of your major freeways in DFW. And so the newest freeway really is the Dallas North Tollway. So as you can see, my office is right in Frisco, right off of Dallas North Tollway and 121. And so when you're thinking about apartment demand, the first thing you have to think about is employment. And, the major employment centers traditionally have been your Dallas downtown, Fort Worth downtown, and then right in the middle is your, airport. So DFW International Airport, which is probably the third or fourth largest airport in the world, sits right in the middle of this metroplex. And so 75 and 35 have always been there, have for a long time. And so a lot of development has been along there. A lot of the new development has begun along Dallas North Tollway. And so if we switch over to satellite view, you can see some of the new employment right here. So this is Toyota's new headquarters. So they moved 5,000 people from California right there. There's Ericsson, Liberty Mutual, JP Morgan, all built new office buildings right here along 121 and Tollway. And so this whole area has a lot of office using employment in this Tollway 121 area. And then also along 75 and George Bush, State Farm built their new headquarters called City Line over here. And then if you zoom out a little bit more over to Irving in this Las Colinas submarket, there are a lot of corporate headquarters there. So you can see, sort of along George Bush Turnpike and then also Sam Rayburn, which is 121. Those are sort of your east-west corridors that a lot of corporate jobs are from, or, a lot of people are working in those areas. And so a lot of the growth in Dallas has really been north. And so a lot of the product in terms of apartments in Garland and Richardson and really Carrollton Farmers Branch, a lot of this was sort of 1960s product, 1970s as you get closer to George Bush Turnpike. And then as you move further north and push further north in the Plano, further up north, this is probably 80s, 90s. And then as you push to Frisco, this is really your 2000s and 2010 product. So your Class A product is really up north in Frisco and then also in sort of uptown area. And so they like to call that sort of the barbell in Dallas. I mean, there's a lot of units under construction right now. Depending on which report you read, there might be anywhere from 25 to 30,000 units under construction in Dallas right now. But a lot of them are concentrated in downtown Dallas and then up north in Plano and Frisco, where a lot of the new jobs are. And so that's really the employment story for Dallas, Fort Worth. And then in terms of population growth, a lot of the population, if we switch over to the satellite map, a lot of Plano is already built out. But if you look up further north, this is where all the vacant land is. So Tollway stops right here. This is where a lot of the new development is going to be, sort of your Prosper, Salina, McKinney area. That's where a lot of the vacant land is. And then there's really not a lot of room to build in sort of your infill location. So people are having to tear down, older apartments to build new along the major thoroughfares. And so the next thing I wanted to show you also when you're looking at Dallas Fort Worth is an income map. And so New York Times does a great job of mapping all of the census tracts. And you can see that a lot of the high income in the Dallas Fort Worth area is sort of north of downtown Dallas, University Park, Highland Park. As you move up this whole way, you have your Plano, Frisco, Allen, McKinney. But then also if you flip over to, okay, what areas have median income under $30,000? You can see that a lot of the areas sort of south of downtown and in the southern parts, southern Fort Worth, East Fort Worth, those are the areas that have sort of your lower median income across the Metroplex. And in one more cut I wanted to show of Dallas Fort Worth is also, demographic groups, ethnic groups, whether white, Black, Hispanic, Asian, so that when you buy in that submarket, sort of what the demographic is, obviously looking at the tenant rent roll, but then also who your neighbors are going to be. And so, the Garland submarket, the Irving submarket is majority Hispanic, and then as you move further up north, mostly white and Asian further up north. And then on the southern parts of Dallas is mostly African American in the southern parts of Dallas. And so that gives you a good feel of the demographics of the area. And then the last piece I wanted to talk about also was the schools across DFW. And so when you look at schools, in Dallas ISD, most of them are ranging anywhere from 1 to 5 out of 10. But then as you push further north, these schools are really, 7, 8, 9s in the suburban parts of DFW. And so when you're looking at your apartment, deciding whether or not your tenant base wants that or needs that, and how much more are you willing to pay to be in a better school district is important. And so I wanted to show you a couple things on, what does this all translate to? What does this mean for DFW? So I picked 3 Class B deals that were recently either listed or sold, and sort of what sort of price per door they were wanting. And so this first deal is in the southern part of Dallas, closer to Duncanville down here. And so here's some pictures of it. It's a nice, 1980s product, pitched roof, individual HVAC deal. Rents per square foot are about $1 a foot and 95% occupied. And this deal will probably trade in the 65 to 70 a door range for a property like that. Next property, we're going to go sort of up 35, up the tollway closer to the Carrollton area. And this property, similar quality, B deal, but probably a B area. And, the rents that they're getting, similar square footage, 800 square foot, $1.14 on the rents. And so this property will probably trade, anywhere from 100 to 110 a door, just because of the location and the rents that it's able to garner. And then the last deal, we're going to take George Bush across west over to the Las Colinas area, very close to the airport, sort of in between the airport and downtown. And this property, similar quality, B property, 1980s property, and the rents that they are getting, 800 square foot averages, $1.40 per unit per month, or per square foot per month. And so you can see that this property, because of the higher rents, the per unit that they're able to get, I think they're asking anywhere from 125 to 130 per door on this particular property. And so as you look at DFW, understanding, stuff in the southern part of Dallas getting $70,000 per unit, up north, 100 per unit, and then in Irving, 120 per unit on a nice B deal across the Metroplex. And that's really driven, again, by the rents and then also by income, right? So how much income can those tenants afford in that area, right? So understanding that, and then the school districts is very important. And so if you have any questions on the DFW Metroplex and buying a multifamily property, please reach out to me. My email and phone number will be listed below. Thank you very much.